Good morning, everyone. I'd like us to get started, so we have a lot to cover today, so we could get started. First of all, I want to thank you for coming out today. My name is Kim Dunbar. I am a Little Miami Board of Education member. I, along with two of my colleagues, will be giving this presentation today. So, what are we going to cover? It's basically an overview of the agenda. We're going to do some introductions. After that, we'll talk about what we feel are the desired outcomes of today and 12 to 18 months from now. Then we'll look at some key principles as to what has driven this presentation today. Then we move on to current realities, the realities of what Little Miami is facing, both actually financially, educationally, and legally. And from those realities, we'll propose a few scenarios that we will look at. And from those scenarios, we will have some key action steps that we feel may need to be taken. Then we'll wrap up, and do a brief wrap up and talk about some concerns that you may have. This is where I have to set the ground rules. This is a work session for the Little Miami Board of Education, and this is an information session. We're sharing information, not in having dialogue. We do encourage you to write down questions, because by the end of the presentation, we hope a lot of your questions will be answered. But if they're not, write those questions down, because it's important that we hear your concerns, and your school board hears your concerns, and other people hear your concerns, whether it be legislation or those people who can actually make a difference. So if you could, write them down.
Real quick, is that what you're describing to us now? Is that going to be the only way that we have to provide input back to you guys?
For today, yes. For today.
What about over time? Is there any other method?
We'll get to that, sir. But for right now, this is going to be an information sharing session, okay? We'll be giving you an appropriate list of people that you could be able to contact, and a lot of them are here in the audience today. Again, we have a lot to cover, so I'm going to get started. We'll start with introductions. The Board of Education, we have Stephanie Black. Would you like to stand, please? Sorry, my paper's here. She's also going to be one of the presenters today. Mike Cremines is part of our Board of Education, and unfortunately he is not going to be here today. He has illness. Bobby Grice is also a member of our Board of Education. Mary Beth Hamburg, and she is also going to be a presenter today. Our superintendent, Dan Bennett, is with us. And our treasurer, Sean Bevan, unfortunately had a previous engagement, but our assistant treasurer, Terry Gonda, is here today, and he will actually be our treasurer as of July of this year. I also want to thank those board members that are in the audience today from the school districts that are around us. You don't need to stand, but I want to thank you. It shows that you have interest in the Little Miami situation, and you want to hear more information about us. So I greatly appreciate you being here. We also have with us some other elected officials. We have Representative Ron Mag here with us today. Thank you for coming. We have Debbie Tahar from the State Board of Education. We also have Jeff Harden from the State Board of Education. Are there any other elected officials here that need to be recognized? No? Okay. Well, again, thank you very much for coming. It again shows your interest in our situation, and we greatly appreciate it. Before we go any further, I also want to say my sincere thanks to the Oasis for letting us hold this forum here. It's a beautiful facility, and this, for your information, this was donated to us to hold this facility, hold this meeting here by a community member. So I want, and they want to remain anonymous, but I want to say thank you to that person. This is much more comfortable than sitting on bleachers, so greatly appreciate it. All right, so why are we here today?
Excuse me, ma'am, Ron has a question.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just wanted to let you know that Senator Cates from Butler County is also came in.
Senator? Senator, nice to meet you. Thank you again for coming. Wish we had a chair for you to sit in. There's someone here. All right, why are we here today? Overall, Little Miami is at a financial crossroads. Little Miami may lose its charter if a May or November 2011 does not pass, because we could be potentially bankrupt in the year, this coming school year, 2011-2012. It's important to note that revoking of the charter has nothing to do with our staff and our administration. They have done everything to give our kids a quality education. This is strictly dollars and cents. And they have done an amazing job with what they have been given. Depending on certain financial outcomes and realities and details, Little Miami has a distinct possibility of running out of funds by October of 2011. That's this school year. It's important with this context that we have this, we understand this today. What do we want to accomplish? We want to ask ourselves, what are the possible contingency plans if the levies fail? And what is in it for the surrounding districts? To be very clear, we do not have specific answers to these questions. This situation is unprecedented. We are seeking to enroll you in the formulation of a plan. That is why we're here today. So, we go to our agenda. What are some of the desired outcomes for today and for the next 12 to 18 months? Well, from an overall perspective, we recognize that there are a lot of stakeholders beyond the Little Miami School District that could be affected. Clinton, Massey, Blanchester, Goshen, Kings, Lebanon, Loveland. Within all those districts, you have administration, you have teachers, you have community members, and you have children. So as you'll see in the later slides, this situation is a distinct possibility of affecting all of these stakeholders. So we're asking ourselves one question. What would need to be true for all of those who could be involved and be affected to get to the best possible place, both educationally and financially? So we're suggesting we create a forum for everyone to achieve the best possible outcome, both educationally and financially. So today, if this is the overall goal of us, what do we want this to accomplish today? First, foremost, we want to share information. We want to provide the school districts and the people in the communities information regarding the fiscal, educational, and legal background of the Little Miami School District. This will not only help you understand our situation, it actually may help you in reading the signs that may be coming down the road for your situations. And finally today, we want to achieve the formation of a core team comprised of members of each of the surrounding districts to continue this dialogue and develop various contingency plans to prepare for potential levy outcomes. So now what do we base some of our key principles of this meeting on? And we used it to build this agenda and the overall presentation today. Well, we used our board statement. Basically, board statement says, we ensure each graduate is prepared to be successful in the world of work and to succeed in higher education. In an environment of high expectations and opportunity shall be created that fosters scholarship and citizenship and develops within each student the ability to become productive and a productive and responsible member of society. It's very possible your school districts have that same exact mission, or very similar to it. There are two words in this mission that bring us here today: prepared and opportunity. Those are specific elements we are trying to engage in today's presentation. As I mentioned earlier, our teachers and our staff have done very well in spite of our circumstances, with the cuts in the programming and so forth. But as you'll see in coming slides, there are more cuts that are being proposed. It is our concern that these two elements, preparation and opportunity, will be compromised for the students. But there's also a parallel here as leaders of the community and the school districts. Being prepared and having an opportunity, that's another reason why we're here today. Back up. The other reason we're here, the other key principle, is we want to be able to operate and communicate with transparency throughout this process. This entire situation has a high potential of being both political and emotional. Now let's face it, the stakes are high for everybody. We believe the best way to manage these charged circumstances is with complete openness about what we know and what we don't know, and to have frequent, candid conversations. We want people 3, 4, 5 years from now to look back at this moment and say how open and transparent this process was. So that is how we want to proceed. And as our hope and our expectation that those others involved in the process will do the same.